smooth sounds of jazz, just another Cleveland staple.
And that rhythm has resonated. Another My Ohio story with Leon Bibb.
You know, the first time I went to a Cleveland jazz club, I was 17 years old. I was bitten by the bug. To hear the internationally known greats changed me. So mention music, especially jazz, and you can reel me in. It is the same with my subject today. So let's go listen to one of hundreds of musicians I follow here in one of my jazz men. A musician who navigates his way through a saxophone, Bobby Selvaggio pushes life into his instrument. For you are in a jazz spot. Of his playing, Selvaggio will tell you he is not thinking, he is just doing.
If you have to go on stage and think about what you're going to do, then you probably really don't know what you're doing.
A philosophical Bobby Selvaggio on creativity, of which he is an expert. This hometown Clevelander is at the Museum of Contemporary Art, where this day the museum's summer music schedule is in full swing. Selvaggio is the featured name. He is one of the lions on the jazz scene.
You know, we have a wealth of young jazz musicians in this town.
Selvaggio, a son of a jazz musician, has helped keep the music alive, certainly for Cleveland. Nationally known, he keeps the music fresh, especially for younger musicians. A graduate of Kent State University, he returned to campus to direct the Jazz Studies program. To his young students, he teaches not only performance, but also jazz history.
But really understanding the history of everywhere too, not just New York City, but we were talking earlier about the history here in Cleveland, Ohio.
Touching a chord in my own heart, Selvaggio and I traded stories about big-name talents who brought stardom and jazz into Cleveland. Selvaggio's saxophone mentally floated me back to one of my favorite jazz spots, which ironically once stood where we stood.
I saw Cannonball right
Oh,
here,
Dick, you're killing me, Leon,
right here,
man.
right on this spot. At the Jazz Temple was right here on
Yeah,
Mayfield.
you are killing me.
Sharing his life and his passion is wife Chelsea, 20 years married. She knows he is steeped in jazz culture, loving the music and loving Chelsea.
Does he ever play specifically for you?
No.
He used to.
I don't know that he ever has. I'm trying to think if he ever has. He played at our wedding, but I don't know if it was even specifically for me then.
Rethinking it, Chelsea remembers references to her and her Bobby's music. She is his first love. Saxophone plays second fiddle to Chelsea. At the Museum of Contemporary Art, Bobby Selvaggio and the No Words Quintet laid it out nicely. Story of a nationally known musician who keeps his chops creative in Cleveland and the world. Musician on a mission, leading the young lions here, but also teaching up-and-coming young lions at Kent State University. Still, the teacher is learning too, always growing in the art.
I'm always a student of the music, because if you've got nowhere to grow, then what we do is really irrelevant, and it becomes very boring.
Boring is not part of his repertoire. Selvaggio is in his sound, tethered to his saxophone. He and his music are vibrant, pulsing with energy. Man and instrument blend into one. In these showcased rhythms, accented by the sidemen, is music history. Yet there is today as well. Bobby Selvaggio is in his musical stride. I'm Leon Bibb, lingering for a while on the jazz scene. Another melodious stop in my Ohio. Sweet. Cleveland and jazz date to shortly after the turn of the 19th century into the 20th century. Jazz is often called America's classical music. It was this country's gift to much of the world, much of the music pulsing through Cleveland. It still does. In my Ohio, I'm Leon Bibb.